All right, let's try to make sense of the absolute chaos that was the 2026 NBA trade deadline. I mean, what a day. It felt like the entire league map just got completely redrawn, and we're here to break down what it all means.
Okay, get this. 27. That's the number you need to have in your head. Out of the 30 teams in the NBA, 27 of them made some kind of a deal. We're not talking about a little ripple here. This was a straight-up tidal wave that changed rosters, reset the future for a bunch of franchises, and honestly, threw the whole championship picture into beautiful, beautiful chaos.
So, that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When the dust settles on a day that wild, you have to ask, who actually came out on top? Who made the genius move, and who's going to be kicking themselves a month from now? Let's dive in and figure it out. First things first, we have to talk about the blockbuster deals. The ones that absolutely broke the internet and are going to change things on the court immediately. And of course, the biggest headline of the day had a very familiar name attached to it: James Harden. Traded again. This is the fourth time in 5 years, if you can believe it. This time, he's packing his bags, leaving the Clippers, and heading to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And let me tell you, this move completely shakes up the Eastern Conference. So let's break this one down. It's pretty clear what both sides were thinking, right? For Cleveland, this is a total win-now move. They're betting the farm that Harden's veteran experience is that last little piece they need for a title. The Clippers, on the other hand, they're kind of hitting the reset button. They get a fantastic young guard in Darius Garland, and, just as important, a whole bunch of draft picks for the future. And you don't have to guess why Cleveland did it. Just listen to their coach, Kenny Atkinson. He's talking about Harden's IQ, his feel for the game. For the Cavs, this isn't just about getting a guy who can score. It's about getting one of the smartest players out there, someone they think can run the show when the playoff pressure is at its absolute highest. But wait, there's more. Just when you thought the day couldn't get any crazier, the Dallas Mavericks dropped a bombshell of their own. They sent Anthony Davis, to the Washington Wizards as part of a massive 3-team trade. This wasn't just a small tweak. This was Dallas signaling a major, major change in direction. And just look at what Dallas got back. This isn't just a one-for-one swap. They got a veteran in Chris Middleton, some interesting young talent, and a whole bunch of draft assets. You can see the blueprint here, can't you? It's all about clearing the decks and building a totally new team around their prized rookie Cooper Flag. This is a full-on rebuild, folks. All right, so we've talked about the guys who got new jerseys, but sometimes the biggest stories at the deadline are about the trades that don't happen. And boy, were there some huge names floating around in the rumor mill who ended up staying right where they were. And the number one name on that list, Giannis Antetokounmpo. For weeks, the speculation was just out of control. Was Milwaukee really gonna trade him? But when that deadline buzzer sounded, the Greek freak was still a buck. And that decision, that non-move, sends its own shockwaves through the league. And you don't have to guess what he's thinking. He said it himself. He wants to be a buck for life. So Milwaukee held on to him. And what that tells us is they're betting on themselves. They're basically saying, okay, we'll figure out the rest this summer, but we are building around our guy. Giannis wasn't alone either. The other huge name swirling in rumors was Ja Morant in Memphis. And yeah, teams were definitely calling, but apparently nobody was willing to pay the massive price that Memphis was asking for. So another superstar stays home, and another potential blockbuster just fizzles out. At least for now. Okay, so now that we've covered the moves and the non-moves, let's hand out some grades. It's time for the final scorecard. Who were the winners and who were the losers of the 2026 trade deadline? First up in the winners column, the Utah Jazz. Man, just about everyone agrees they knocked it out of the park. They saw a clear opportunity to speed up their rebuild, and they absolutely pounced on it. I mean, their plan was just textbook. Step 1, you already have this fantastic young core with guys like Keontae George and Walker Kessler. Step 2, you go out and make a bold move for a proven all-star in Jaren Jackson Jr. And step 3, you still have another high lottery pick coming this summer. You put all that together, and wow, the Jazz are suddenly way, way ahead of schedule. Now, for every winner, there's usually a team that, didn't do so well. And a lot of people are pointing their fingers at the Sacramento Kings. Their inaction at the deadline left a lot of us just scratching our heads. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? What is the plan in Sacramento? We've been hearing for a year now that they might trade veterans like Domantas Sabonis or DeMar DeRozan to finally pick a clear direction. But
Nothing. They stood pat. And now you're just left wondering, what exactly are they trying to build here?
And then you have the Washington Wizards, the ultimate Rorschach test of this deadline. On one hand, you have people giving them a solid B, saying, hey, good for them. They swung for the fences and got two huge stars in AD and Trae Young. But on the other hand, you've got analysts handing out an F, calling it a disaster because of the poor roster fit and the fact that they have zero depth. It's a true high-risk, high-reward gamble.
So let's zoom out for a second. What's the big picture here? When we look back on this crazy trade deadline in a few years, what's going to be the main takeaway? Honestly, it all came down to money. More than any deadline I can remember, this was about financial strategy. Teams weren't just thinking about winning this year. They were desperately trying to get under the new super restrictive luxury tax. It was all about creating cap space for the future. This year, having a smart accountant was just as important as having a smart GM. And that's where we're at. The rosters are set, and all the bets are on the table. Cleveland's going for it now. Dallas is playing the long game. Utah's trying to accelerate their timeline. And now all we can do is sit back and watch it all play out. Which one of these big gambles is actually going to pay off when it really matters? We're about to find out, and the road to the championship just got a whole lot more interesting.